Hello, everyone. Hope you all's day is going well. Ride sharing and mental health. Um, I once did ride share, as you all know. Drove many rides to many destinations. Drove through different elements. Dealt with various different personalities. Had a lot of laughs, some silence, and even some frustration. However, with each ride, when the client would get out the vehicle and I would drive off, if I was turning off the app, if I was taking a break, if I was trying to go pick up another client and stop somewhere in the process, which I wouldn't advise to do, it was all positive in the big scheme of things. And the reason that it was positive because it helped from a mental health standpoint for me, and all positive in the sense that I can sincerely say that with each client that I had, no matter if it was a parent, a college professor, a student here on a visa, going to UTA, it just kept everything in perspective. It kind of like kept me grounded. It's like everyone goes through challenging times, tough times, and it's even tough being on the road for 12 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours. And the reason it's tough, some of it is due to things out of my control, or if you're in the ride share, out of your control. But it just, you have to always be focused when you're on the road. That takes a lot of mental capacity. I know some individuals out there may say, nah, it's just driving. But people get in car collisions every day. In fact, most car accidents happen when a person is like 2 miles from home, like not far at all. So doing rideshare just reiterated or snapped me back into reality like, hey, your situation isn't that bad. Your family situation isn't that bad. Like you're still present, you're still healthy. So you have an opportunity to do better, achieve more. And that's the prism to look through it too. Now, I'm not saying don't be realistic because when I was doing the ride sharing for the applications, I was always realistic. I always knew that a client can get in my car with an attitude. A client can probably get in my car and spaz out on me. I can have a client get in my car and be rude. Not necessarily by their language, but by their nonverbal communication, like not speaking. However, on the other side of that, when a client got in my car and they began to vent, maybe positive, negative, or too much, I never categorized it as that. I just took it as an opportunity to learn about their situation, how it can tie into my life, and if it couldn't currently tie into my life, then maybe in the future I could reflect. And I always believe that served the dual purpose because I'm helping them with their mental health. I mean, I could have easily said, "Hey, nah, look, I know you had a long day. I really don't want to hear that. I just want to drive. I don't care about what your family going through. I don't care about what your boss say. Just sit back and hush." But I would never do that. I would never do that because that's just unhuman. It just is. It is no other way to put it. Because imagine for those that do not do rideshare out there, let's say you're just a person that does rideshare from the standpoint where you just call rideshare to get where you need to go. and something was really on your mind, something you heard, you just got some positive news. Let's stay positive. Let's say you got some positive news. Let's say you just did an incredible sale and you made like 50,000 commission. You want to just share it with the individual that's driving you. You know, you may not get into the specifics of the numbers, but like, hey, Thomas, Thomas is your driver in this example. Thomas, I'm having an amazing day. I just did this amazing achievement. It took me time and effort. And him, because he not really have no motion in his life and he's not striving towards anything. He just be like, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. And you know that he's lying because there's no music playing. That would just be rude. That would end up probably having you leave a comment, give him a 1-star rating. And then on the darker side of that, let's say that same person that just achieved that try reaching out to share it with, their loved ones or those that are dear to them, but they were busy and they just had to get it off, or, had to get it out. And the person, Thomas driving, just poo-pooed on it. That could have sent her down a dark spiral. And I know some of you all out there may be saying, nah, that wouldn't happen. But it happens every day. Happens every day. It can happen quicker than you believe it. But doing that ride share experiences, having people hop in my car and out of my car, that's one common thing, that mental health is important. And the reason that it's important, because no matter if I'm driving four people in my car, 5 people, no matter if I'm making $80 from the ride with a $45 tip, no matter if no one's in my car and I'm just driving home, or driving to get a snack, or driving to go to the gym from doing rideshare, the mind is always with you. You can't escape it. So that's why mental health is essential. It just is. And even when I was driving on the road by myself, looking for a client, waiting for the app to go off, paying attention to your surroundings, that'll help your mental health too. I mean, there's been many times I was driving and I saw a crazy collision. The cones are out, the fire department's coming, they telling you to stop. Well, that's not. Sometimes it was the fire department. Other times it was the police department saying, hey, stop. You can come, go ahead. And you just see crazy things. Door handles knocked off, people crying, they got the flares lit. You just never know. You just never know. And I always say, this is just a personal opinion of mine. You all can tell me what you all think. If your mind ain't right, you halfway gone. And when I say gone, I don't mean you passing away, but you in the realm of making a horrible decision to yourself or someone else. It could be someone you care about. In fact, it could be someone you don't care about. And I don't mean like going all the way to the end. You could say something that you can't take back. Because once you say it, you said it. There's no apologizing. Anybody that's honest with themselves, they're like, and then, it gets deep in their mind, and you may think it's no big deal. They go their way, you go your way. And that's the end. And if you all think I'm playing, I'm a sports fan, NFL, and maybe you all are too. The defensive end, Marshawn Nealon. I just saw him play like 3 days ago versus the Arizona Cardinals. He was number 54. He blocked the punt. And earlier I learned that he had a situation with the cops in Frisco, Texas. Like it was like a highway speed chase. They end up losing him. He had some kind of ticket, some kind of traffic violation. And, they found him and come to find out he self-deleted himself. Now, let's look at this. 3 days ago, he was on national television versus the Arizona Cardinals. Again, he was number 54. He was a second round draft pick, defensive end. Had a girlfriend, so he had someone that cared about him. He was making, he was doing well for himself. He made an NFL team, and if anyone knows the statistics, it's very hard to make an NFL team. It just is, health, a lot of those things. But the thing is, he was going through. He felt life was so bad that the solution was to self delete himself, and that's crazy. In one breath, and in the next breath, it's a lot of questions that we'll never have the answers to because they have so many mental health groups. I'm sure the Dallas Cowboys have a lot of psych doctors on the that they know of that can help him. And maybe he tried to get help. Maybe he was dealing with depression. I mean, we don't know. The main thing is though, this NFL player who had a lot of life ahead of him. He was extremely young. He was only 24 years old. He had a mental health issue, and most people looking at it would think, hey, he's making millions of dollars. He has this amazing woman. He's not going through anything. But this is the thing. When those shoulders pads come off and that jersey come off, life still goes on. We just see a snippet of what these players go through. And no matter what you see from the outside, you can never see into a person's mind. So taking it back to ride sharing, when a client would get in my car, it got to a point where I was being real with myself, but being real with them. Being upbeat, always talk to them. If they wanted to be spoken to, I would never force dialogue on anyone because that's just crazy. If a person want to talk, they'll talk, and if they don't, they're probably trying to sit with their thoughts, and there's nothing wrong with one sitting with their thoughts. But yeah, ride share and mental health, it definitely goes hand in hand. And again, anyone that does ride share in any capacity, and even you all out there that do not do ride share, maybe you all just drive yourself or drive your friends and your family members around. You all can tell me what you think. Does driving and mental health go hand in hand in your eyes? Just tell me what you think. Like, share, and subscribe. I just want to bring this to you all. And I just also want to say that anyone out there that is going through something from a mental standpoint, there's many outlets out there. Of course, I'm not no doctor, but there's many outlets out there. You can reach out to hotlines. Um, you can exercise. These are things that I believe are positive. I don't necessarily know if they would help, but and then you can also write. You can set goals and just reflect and look around you and see how people are getting taken up out of this world on a daily, in a minute, in a second basis. So that's all. You all continue to have a good day, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.